I have a biblical question that I give out on my show every week. A biblical question. And the reason for it is for you to know that you know, self-examination. The beginning of salvation is to know thyself. You got to see that you're wrong, playing God. Then you shall be free. So you need to know that you know, not because someone said it, but because you see it to be true. You know that is true. All right. My biblical question for this week: why are women drawn to weak men? Why? Why are women drawn to weak men? That's my biblical question for this week. It is a good one. It's a doozy. Today is my birthday, May 22nd, and I believe I'm 69. Is that right, Joe? Yeah, 69. Yeah, he remembers. My audio engineer. I'm 69 years old, so I woke up this morning, I was thinking, wow, when I say 69, it seems like it's not true. And the reason is, and I was thinking about this, and I'm so grateful. 29 years ago, prior to 29 years ago, I had a lot of conflict. I had anger. And in that state of anger, I was separated from God, from my Creator. And the way that I was separated from God was I became angry because my mother tried to turn me away from my father. She was mad at him. And the worst thing that can happen to boys and girls, the worst thing that can happen to children of all races, human beings, period, is to be turned away from their earthly father. When you turn them away from their earthly father, you turn them away from their own identity. You turn them away from love. You turn them away from peace. You turn them away from God. Because whether we know it or not, accept it or not, believe it or not, live it or not, the men represent Christ. They are the Christ on earth. They are sons of God. They may be poor examples of it, but they represent Christ. So when you turn the children away from the earthly father, you're turning them away from Christ. That's why God said he's going to return the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children. And that's why you see a lot of black men who act like women. They act like their mothers. They sound like their mothers. They are angry and emotional and doubtful. They look to the government and women and others to take care of them. They blame the white man because they don't think and feel like a man. They feel like a woman. Real men don't blame. And the black women don't have any men that they can look up to because the men have been destroyed at an early age by angry mothers. And long story short, so I had all these emotions, doubts and fears and worry and insecurities, all kinds of things, because I was separated from my earthly father. As a result, separated from God. And long story short, when I moved to L.A. back in 1968, I was on my own at 18. And I have to tell you, I'm so grateful that I was taught growing up, at 18, you're out of here. And I'm like, where am I going? My grandmother would say, I don't know, and I don't care, but you're out of here. You're grown. I'm going to get you to 18, and you're on your own. I moved to California at 18, on my own, very insecure, didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I started going to black churches in LA to find out what is wrong with me. And they said it was racism. For the first time, I started to be angry at white people, blaming them. I hated whites because I believed into the lie of the black preachers, Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan, all of the evil people that were running the hearts and minds of black people. And so finally, I asked God to let me see myself because I had all these emotions. I didn't know what was wrong. And he allowed me to see that I resented my mother, who lacked patience, who tried to turn me away from my father. And I was yearning for my father, that deep down void. I knew that as a child. It's a yearning for the father. I went and forgave my mother. And I went and forgave my father. When I forgave them, God forgave me. And what I did, I just apologized because God said, go to the people whomever you're angry at, go and forgive them. Don't ask for forgiveness from them. I will forgive you. In the Lord's Prayer, it says, forgive me as I forgive. I went and forgave my mother. I said, hey, I'm sorry for resenting you all my life because you had no patience. You tried to turn me away from my father. And I told my father, I'm sorry for holding that against you because I had this void, this yearning for you. My soul yearned for the Father. And it's not material things or anything like that. It's for the Father. A return to his own identity. And when I forgave them, God forgave me. He took away the spirit of anger 29 years ago. And I have perfect peace. And I've had it perfectly for the last 29 years. And so I don't feel like 69. You should see me at the gym. I'm jumping on these tall boxes. I'm lifting weights. I'm running around. And I don't feel that way at all. Sound mind now, good health, because when you return to the Father, that's what happens. And I write about this in my book, From Rage to Responsibility. One of the books I've written, the first one I wrote, From Rage to Responsibility. I highly recommend that you get it so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. And when that is taken away from you, you have perfect peace. No fear, no doubt, no worries, no insecurities. You just wake up and you start living your life. And so today is 69 years of my life on earth, and it doesn't seem like it. I feel like a kid. And a kid feel, until he or she is traumatized in the home, they feel they're free. They rely on their parents. They rely on, they forgive easily. They don't hold on to things until they're traumatized. And so that's what my life is like today. And it's because I don't have the spirit of anger. You can't control anger. Anger is not of God. It's of your father, the devil. So everyone who has anger, Satan is your father. And even in the scriptures, it says, before you enter into the kingdom of heaven, you must forgive. So I'm encouraging you on my birthday to go and forgive your mothers and your grandmothers, forgive your fathers, and return to your fathers, men and women, and you shall, and through him, you return to God, because he represents God, even if he's a poor representation. And for those who don't believe it, you think anger is good, suffer and die. I can't do anything about it. And for those who know that I'm telling the truth, go and forgive. Don't ask your parents to forgive you. You forgive them, and God will forgive you. And don't be weak about it. Oh, I love you. You don't love them. Anyone who has anger do not have love. You have a fallen state of love, which is based on emotions, and which is a very selfish thing, because you only love someone when they love you. That's selfishness. Real love doesn't require anyone else to love you. You're given the love, and then as you're given, it's being given to you from the Father, the Creator. So that's how I feel on my birthday. And I want to thank everybody and their mama who were like wishing me a happy birthday. Marcus Davis, happy birthday. Jesse, Ali and Deborah, happy birthday, Jesse. Stephanie, the Roonies, happy birthday. And Maria, my longtime friend, happy birthday, Jesse. And everybody else, thank you. I am blessed. I am an American, for those who don't know. I am not an African American. I don't have an afro. I have an Ameri-fro. There are no African drums beating in my chest. The American guitar is playing in my heart. I grew up in Alabama on a plantation under the Jim Crow laws. We didn't have the mess that you see in the black community today. In their hearts and minds, they are feeling like victims and blaming others. Blacks got married for the most part. They raised their children. They were good examples. They owned land. They went to black schools and learned and came back, and they lived their lives. It all changed when the government became the daddy and the corrupt civil rights leaders took hold of the minds of the people. Blacks are suffering because they're immoral, they're not of God, and they come from destructive families. It's the way it is. Our battle is a spiritual battle. And for that reason, I started Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. And we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. So check us out. We have an entrepreneur academy, not one dime from the government in 28 years. It's spiritual. It's not physical. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities, wickedness, and evil in high places. No such thing as racism, no such thing as sexism, no such thing as homophobiaism, Islamophobia. It's all made up words by the children of the lie in order to control you. When I come back, I'll take your phone calls. It's so good to be here.